It's time for the Writer's Block, our weekly look at all things sports. I'm Jenny Carlson here in the studios at the Oklahoman, joined by Cedric Golden from the studios at the Austin American-Statesman. Hello, my friend.
What's going on, Jay Carr?
You know, just trying to dodge tornadoes and floods in Oklahoma. So
wow.
That's a full-time job right now. But let's talk some sports. Let's talk the fun stuff. Get off the real world for a segment. Let's start with our lead segment, and that is the NBA Finals getting ready to crank up. Finally had a little bit of a delay after the Warriors got in, then the Raptors joined the party. Is this a case of a Canadian team becoming America's team, Cedric? Is everybody that's not already a Warriors fan pulling like crazy for the Raptors?
I don't think so. I mean, here the difference between the NBA and the NFL, it seems to me that the NBA at its best points of its history flourished because of dynasties. Bill Russell's Celtics, Magic Johnson's Lakers, Michael Jordan's Bulls, and now Steph Curry and company at Golden State. The NFL is different because everybody hates the Patriots for obvious reasons. But the fact that the NBA, its glory days are always synced up with the best dynasties performing. I forgot the Spurs with Duncan. So when that's going on, I think business is better. I don't think the NBA fan base overall is ready for Toronto to be the darlings of the league. As far as business is concerned, I think it's better for the NBA if Golden State wins. They got more star power, even though Kawhi Leonard is a great player and the Raptors have Drake and a whole country behind them. Golden State moves the needle a lot more than the Toronto Raptors. So I think if people are pulling for the Raptors, it's because they want something new. But there are a lot of Steph Curry fans out there and a lot of Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson fans. It's America's game, so they probably need to keep the trophy in America.
Maybe I just live in a place where people are so against the Warriors, it skews my whole perception. I mean, for obvious reasons, no Warriors fans, or very few Warriors fans, around these parts here in Oklahoma City after, obviously, Durant's departure in 2016. So I do have to say, though, I'm curious to see how this shakes out. I mean, we've seen the Warriors without Kevin Durant roll through the Western Conference Finals. It was the Warriors of yesteryear, if you will, powered by Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. We saw that movie previously. We saw that movie win a championship previously. We know how good that group is. But, Cedric, you bring up the fact that Kawhi Leonard playing at such a high level for the Raptors. Can he affect the Warriors in a way that the Portland Trailblazers couldn't, defensively especially? He can't guard all three of those guys, obviously, but his defense changes things so dramatically. It changed it in that series against the Bucks when he took on Giannis. So is it a possibility that Golden State is vulnerable without Durant, who's not going to be available, at least for this first game? Is that a possibility that maybe the Warriors are vulnerable if they don't have Durant against the Raptors?
Of course, because Kawhi is right now the best two-way player in the league, Jen. And I think the last time that they faced Golden State, he faced Golden State in a playoff series. He was going off for the Spurs, and then he landed on Zaza Pachulia's foot.
Yeah. And
that kind of changed that series, and the Spurs were up like 25 in that game, and he was never the same after that. So I'm sure Kawhi remembers that. They ask a lot of him because he's so dynamic defensively, and I think it's a lot for him to shoulder. He's not healthy. He's got a leg problem, so he doesn't have that lift. Even though that dunk that we saw in the final game was fire. Mm-hmm. I think that they're asking a little bit too much of him. Even if Kevin Durant doesn't come back, the Warriors, who are banged up themselves, are expected to get DeMarcus Cousins back sometime in this series. And KD has already flown to Toronto ahead of Game 1, even though he's officially listed as out, which sends a message that maybe he will be ready for Game 2 or Game 3 back in Oakland. So I think Golden State is too powerful. Let's not forget, Jen, the Toronto Raptors overcame a couple of 15-point deficits just to get to the finals. Yeah. So you fall behind by 15 to Golden State 99% of the time. you're going to get an L. So I like Kawhi Leonard. I like what Kyle Lowry's giving them in these playoffs. Van Fleet, Siakam, and the veteran Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
But on paper, you look at what Golden State's bringing to the table, plus that championship experience that you can't overlook. I think the Warriors are going to take the Raptors out in 5 games.
Yeah, the Warriors are they're hard to pick against because of all that they've done and the tradition that they've built in the last 5-6 years of just being able to win these type of series, surprise you sometimes. Coming back. Obviously, they had the one finals implosion against LeBron, but I don't think LeBron's putting on a Raptors jersey. So I think not that we know of. It is fascinating, though, the undercurrents of free agency. We've talked about this before on the Writer's Block. Where's Durant go? Where does Kawhi go? Are they going? All those questions wrapped up into this final series. All that will be talked about, dissected, probably over dissected, but NBA Finals get underway. I think it's going to be fun basketball, so I'm looking forward to some good basketball.